financial advisor. That's the parlance that people probably know me by. But my clients see me as their key point, or the key piece of their trusted team looking after their financial affairs. And I'm the guy that stands between them and making stupid decisions. And that's how they would describe it. I've been doing this for about 25 years. And I started running my own business, Yellowtail Financial Planning, about 9 years ago. And wanted to do that to try and beat the rush of people that wanted to move to fee-based sort of financial planning advice. And I didn't really know what I was doing at that time. So I was going along to all kinds of events like this and working with all kinds of, I suppose, coaches and business gurus. And we were doing okay. I was being on the BBC every couple of weeks. I was going on the radio, on television. I had my own weekly column in our industry mags. I was pretty well respected within my industry, and we had no trouble at all getting new clients and asking them to pay us at least £2,500 to sign up to become and work with us. So we had no problem there, but I kind of didn't know what we were doing. We was just felt like a treadmill, and working with the coaches and consultants wasn't really giving me anything. And I came along to this event, I think, probably 5 or 6 years ago, and I sat where you're sitting now and thinking, this makes sense to me. It's easy, 5 simple steps that even I could understand. So I signed up for it, and it was an immediate disaster. And I guess you're not expecting me to say, Dan's not expecting me to say that. It was.
That's all we've got time for.
It was an immediate disaster because for the first weekend when you do pitch and publish, I decided to jump on a bike and go from Land's End to John O'Groats on a charity ride. Because I thought, well, I've already been dealing with pitching. I've been working with these consultants. I knew what I was selling, and I had no problem selling my services to clients. And publishing or writing, well, I've been doing that and doing that and doing that. I'd written probably 3 books worth of material. So I figured I could catch that up on my own. And it took about 3 years before the penny dropped that the pitch isn't just having an elevator speech or a collection of words. It means unpacking it and doing something else with it. So I kind of wasted 3 years. But that, when I got into it, that was fine. Those bits are all there. But it meant, because I didn't have the pitch right, I'd started the book about 12 times, got to chapter 3 and thought, this isn't it. This isn't it. This isn't it. So I eventually sat down and did the work on the pitch, because they'd been offered and said, do you want to do this pitch work? No, it's all right, I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm doing. Arrogance or stupidity or both. So I went and did the pitch program, I understood, and I began to unpack and said, so here's what I'm going to be doing with the next thing I want to do. I'm going to start writing this book for the bunch of clients that I have most enjoyment working with. So my business at that time had about 40% of its clients and 40% of its work were widows, who would come to me between 2 to 6 years after their husband had died, and usually in a state of panic, and they didn't want to come and see someone like me, but they were very worried. And we'd gone through the credit crunch at that time. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be great to write a book that I could give to people? The moment their husband had died, they could pick up a book that tell them exactly what to do. So I went round to these 40%, these clients, and said, I want to talk to you about your story. What about this? They said, this is a fantastic idea. Brilliant idea, Dennis, but it's the wrong one. Because there is no way we would pick up a book and read this. We're grieving. Actually, what we should have had were conversations with our husbands before he died. But money and death are those conversations that we don't want to have. So I figured, okay, so can I use your stories and put them in this book in a way that will make it easy for people to have a conversation? And they said, yeah, don't mind. Brilliant. Good. Do it. And I did. And I wrote that book, and it's just full of stories, and it's in everyday language, and I tested it with them, and I tested it with some other people who said, death, money, don't want to talk about those things. But they said it was written very well, so I'm pleased about that. But the interesting thing is when I got it out there, and I gave a copy to every single one of my clients, and it sells on Amazon, not very well, because it's not the title, Who Will It Hurt When I Die? You're not going to really pick that up and buy it as a holiday read. More laughs than I ever had with my stand-up. What I found is that my wealthiest clients took that as their Bible. They read through it. They would come and have meetings with me. They'd read it 3 times. They'd made notes in the margins, well-thumbed, and they said, Dennis, the stuff we've been telling you about the things we said we'd got in place and we're looking after about that trusted team, we were kind of kidding. we've got more work to do. My least wealthy clients, I'm not entirely sure if they've read the book. Some of them have. But this was beginning to tell me who wanted a real relationship with me and my business. It was those people that were paying me the most. So my top 10 clients account for 60% of my revenue. It's not quite the Pareto, but nearly there. My top client pays me £50,000 a year, not for financial advice, but to be a key part of the trusted team. So if something goes wrong, as his wife says, the first phone call is to you, Dennis, because you know what Plan B is, and we've been working on Plan B now for a couple of years. And those are the kind of people that I want to work with. So since writing that book, my business has slimmed down in terms of the number of clients that it works with, and we will continue to slim down. We have not had to add anybody in terms of headcount cost. My fees have gone up because we are not selling performance, we are not selling investment picks, we are selling being a trusted team member, and we help them with their succession planning about how that wealth goes down through the generations. And I love the writing process because for me, everything that Lucy said is true. But for me, when I first wrote that book and I had all these words coming down, it felt like a game of Tetris. And you've got these words coming down and trying to fit the paragraphs and the sentences together, and then I'm like Neo. Stop, I control the page. And I can put those words where I like, and I can jiggle and fiddle about and all that editing process and craft something of real value, and it's great fun. And you just write books. I would just do that for my business. Just lock myself in a dark room and write books and only see 12 people a year. And that's me. Thanks very much.
Thank you.